Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Alternative Education Graduation Ceremony for 2012. Another round of applause for the graduates. Could I ask you to please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. At this point, I'd like to introduce my partner in alternative education, the principal for San Antonio and Valley Oaks High Schools, Mrs. Lynn Moreno.
Welcome here tonight, and Mr. Sims is trying to bend over. We either have a choice of a microphone out here or one in the short, so we'll make it work. This is a wonderful night tonight, and I'd like to welcome you all to this wonderful celebration. We have some special people here tonight that I'd like to recognize, and alternative ed is a very unique part of our education. And thankfully, our school board and our superintendent and his cabinet recognize that not every student survives in the same type of school. And they have supported alternative ed for years and years. With us tonight, we have our superintendent, Mr. Steve Bowen. Thank you. We have members of our cabinet, Jane Escobedo, Mary Chapman, Tricia Bass, and our board members who are wonderful in supporting alternative ed. We have Carolyn Tennyson, Thomas Anderson, Sherry Slabowski, and Mike Gallagher. Another group of very wonderful men and women that I'd like to recognize and that I have a pleasure to work with every day are my staff of San Antonio and Valley Oaks. If you could stand up, please. You're not going to find a more sensitive, kind, caring, wonderful, helpful staff that you find at alternative ed schools. They are incredibly talented at what they do. They never give up on any student, and they are excellent, excellent, excellent teachers. So thank you to my staffs of both Valley Oaks and San Antonio. A reminder before we actually begin the ceremony, this is, like I said, a real special time for our students, and we want to be a caring audience as well. We want to make sure that every name is heard, every word of every student's speech is heard, and that we really recognize every single individual so that no one gets blurred out by the excitement of a second student. So please try to really be a very helpful and courteous audience. We're a little alternative audience, so. Graduation is a day for celebration. It's a day for speeches. It's a day for us really recognizing the students. And I'm really honored to be a part of this because these students sitting on the stage, as unique and individual as each one of them is, they they share something in common, and that is a courage, a commitment to do and have their education somewhat different. And it takes courage to go to an alternative ed and go away from the mainstream of where everyone else is going. These students have chosen a different pathway, many of them a different pathway for their life, and have overcome more challenges than a lot of the adults sitting here in this room. We have students sitting on the stage that are the first graduates in their family, ever. We have students sitting on the stage that have children of their own. We have children sitting on the stage that are just the survivors and the champions. And they are here today because of their hard work and their perseverance and their dedication and commitment to their goal. They're also here because of all of you here in the audience. So, graduates, can we give the audience a big hand? We know that some of you are out there going, whew, they made it. We finally got it, and we really did make it. And all of you are out there sitting with a lot of pride, because you know that these students up here worked hard to make it to where they are. So, students, be proud of yourselves. Set those goals high. Families, thank you for all you've done to support them. We have an amazing group of men and women up here, and I'm going to turn over the mic to Mr. Sims.
Thank you. I'd like to add my thanks. Actually, let me start with this. My staff, my students, and my friends have told me on more than one occasion that I have the potential to be long-winded, so I am going to make a particular effort tonight to be short and to the point. So I'm going to perhaps repeat some of what Ms. Moreno said as a point of emphasis, but I'm not going to go over long with this. What I want you to realize is that we, my staff, the educators in Alt-Ed, we are very much like all of you out in the audience, at least relative to the young men and women that you're staring at up here on the stage. We, from the moment that we met them, we needed to know and wanted to know more about their own personal stories. And we wanted to know that because it's important to us in terms of how we work with them, how we relate to them, how we help them move forward with their goals. So we are all, I think, in Alt-Ed very much about the story and finding out more about students. Okay? And I think that's true of all of you. You're interested in their day-to-day lives and what their story is. From the moment that we met them, we were concerned about them. They came to Alt-Ed because they felt they needed a different path. Whether it was a student from Valley Oaks who simply had a schedule that couldn't accommodate a regular day-to-day, 5-day-a-week student schedule, or any number of issues, all of which I know that you are intimately familiar with. So we were concerned about them, and that concern has been a motivator, and it is, frankly, why people in this part of our biz, Alt-Ed, it's why we come back year after year, month after month, semester after semester. It is something that is near and dear to our heart. We care about the folks that are sitting up here, and actually we will continue to care about them. One of the glories of working in a small school is to have kids come back on a consistent basis and visit and say hello and check in with us and let us know what they've been up to. We have been, as some of you have expressed on occasion, frustrated with them over the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, however long we've been with them, because we wanted them to move forward in a consistent way towards meeting their goals, and for some of them it was hard to be consistent. I think one of the real patterns of success with these kids is that they have proven now that they do have the capacity for that success, and they're going to be able to take that pattern, that capability, and they're going to be able to move into the world of work post-secondary education or some kind of training program, and they are going to be able to succeed because they have demonstrated their success to themselves, and now they can sell it to the rest of the world at large. So we are very, very proud of that as well. And lastly, like all of you, we are hopeful. We are hopeful that they will achieve the greatest things. They are, each and every one of them, wonderful people who have the capacity to do important and cherished things, and we are looking forward to seeing that in motion. And lastly, we as a staff in Alt-Ed, we are honored that you have given us a chance to work with this batch of folks because they are the top of the heap. This is what Alt-Ed is all about. This is why we live the way we live. This is why we come to work every day. So I would actually like to thank each and every one of you for the opportunity to work with you over the last several years for some of you, okay? Thank you, I appreciate it. The last thing that I would like to do is have my own staff stand up because in my two schools, I am definitely the old codger around here. I'm the guy on the walker that they are chasing up and down the aisles. I have a young, energetic, vibrant staff that is ready to hit it hard every day and ask only the best of everyone involved. And it starts from one end of the row and goes all the way to the other. They are all young and energetic. Please stand up. I will tell you that working with them has been a particular pleasure this year. They come with some very fresh ideas, and I know that many of the students have appreciated a chance to work with them as well. So thank you all. I know it's hard work, and I know that you put a lot of yourselves into it. I am fortunate at this point to be able to read several names that have received scholarships and awards. The first one, the Cleveland Teen Mother Award to, and forgive me, I'm sorry, I meant to confirm the pronunciation. Is it Kiri Escobar? Is that right? Applause, please. From Czech Center, Ashley Bearfield from Sonoma, San Antonio. And the Evergreen Scholastic Achievement Award to Pierre Moynihan, Valley Oaks. And I'm going to read several names in a row and ask all of them to stand up at once. This is all the INRIS Scholarship, and that is Alex Battaglia, Kylie Folks, Victoria Zaragoza, Shauna Bernardi, Greg Smiley, and Sarah Patrick. Stand up, please. Thank you. And finally, two folks who are already scheduled to join the military, serve our country in a capacity that is important to all of us, Brandon Barbieri and Brandon Wright Martinovich. Thank you very much to both of them, and congratulations. At this point, I'm going to give up the mic, and we're going to have some student speakers, and each of the principals will introduce them in turn. And the first speaker this evening will be from Carpe Diem, Miss Sarah Patrick.
When I was first asked to write the graduation speech for Carpe Diem, I was petrified. What would I talk about? I hadn't a shred of a clue. I knew I would talk about the future, but it hasn't happened yet, so how could I do that? I guess all I needed was the perfect quote. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will connect somehow in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, fate, karma, life, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Steve Jobs said that. And reading that, it finally occurred to me. We've been doing all that work, all our changes, all our rebellions, all our growth, all our hormone changes, all of our high school life has been leading up to this moment. This one day where we acknowledge that after years, 4 years, maybe longer or shorter, we've become something more than teenagers or high schoolers. We've become high school graduates and young adults in our own right. And looking back, seeing how everything fell into place, even when I thought I ruined my chances of standing here today, I can't help but believe in that destiny, that we are indeed destined for great things. Whether that great thing is spiritual enlightenment, a successful career, achieving a dream, parenthood, or just living a long, full life. And among those great things, we will count this moment. And it is great because we did it. Students who, whatever their hardship, could not succeed in normal high school life. But through hard work, the love and support of our families, the guidance of our teachers, and destiny, we managed to not just finish high school, we conquered it. When I first started at Carpe, I didn't know how to be a good student, a public speaker, or just have a normal conversation. I'd stare at the ground and mumble and ignore all my schoolwork. However, over these last 3 years at Carpe Diem, I managed to change that about completely. But the change was so gradual, it wasn't until I actually looked back that I noticed it myself. So you can imagine how proud I feel getting to deliver this speech to all of you and accepting a diploma today. And I don't think I could have done it without all the support and help I was given. On my first day of Carpe Diem, Mr. Sims told me Carpe Diem was a tight-knit family. I remember rolling my eyes and muttering under my breath at that statement. And although Carpe was never as full of hugs and rainbows as Mr. Sims put it, he was somewhat accurate. However, I'd say all us students are connected through our teachers. Like strings, they hold us, or rather tie us together, but I see them more as older siblings. Miss D, our ever cheerful and bubbly sister, Miss Rosalino, our easygoing and funny sister, Mr. Kinder, our oddball and upbeat brother, Mr. Winders, our common cool brother. School didn't seem like so much work when we got to have a laugh with them, and our problems and arguments were resolved easily because of them. I don't think any of us, or the school itself, would have made it this far without all of them. And on behalf of the graduating class, I just want to thank you all so much for all that you've done for us during our time at school. And finally, you the families have to be thanked. All you parents who instilled in us all your wisdom and knowledge, and all you siblings who we can always count on when things get really rough. I don't think there are enough words in any language to describe how much love and gratitude we have for you, even though we don't always show it. The very least we can do is make you proud, and that's all you really ask of us. So thank you for loving us, for caring for us, and believing in us, even though we didn't. One day, when we're old and gray, we'll think back on this time and know it was a very small moment in our extraordinary lives. But this moment was the beginning of our greatness. And I don't know about the rest of my fellow graduates, but I'm going to face that greatness with bravery and pride. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Our next speaker is one of our San Antonio speakers, Miriam Vasquez.
I have been through a lot in life, made a lot of mistakes, but you know what they say, you learn from your mistakes. When I was a freshman attending Casa Grande, I was always ditching school, my freshman year and sophomore year. I never considered the consequences. My junior year came up and I was still doing the same thing. Finally, I opened up my eyes and I told myself, that's it. I have to be someone in life. I decided to make a change. San Antonio High School was the only option. At first, I was a little nervous because I had heard only bad students went there and it was full of drama. And there it was. My junior year had come and San Antonio High School was full of drama. But I am not going to lie. I went in with a bad attitude, hated all my teachers, and I would always yell at them. I let the drama get to me. I was ready to drop out and give up. But then I thought to myself, I am not going to let anyone mess up anything for me. I didn't come to make friends. I am just trying to graduate. And I finally realized that San Antonio High School isn't a bad school. All the teachers really work with you and want nothing but the best for you. I seriously don't know how the teachers put up with us sometimes. Finally, when my senior year came around, I was on a roll. I had set myself a goal, and my goal was to do everything possible to graduate. I worked my butt off doing anything I could to earn those credits. The teachers at San Antonio High School couldn't believe it, but once they saw how much I was doing, even going to night school, they were convinced. I had changed for the better. In addition, I also did volunteer work at multiple places in the community for elective credits. I am seriously proud of myself because I didn't think I was going to make it. I needed 80 credits to graduate, and I did it. A lot of people didn't believe in me, and I proved them wrong. I really want to say thank you to all the teachers who helped me out, Mr. Smith, Mr. Klein, Ms. McKenzie, Ms. Lofton, Mrs. Fahey, Mr. Harrington, Ms. Griffin, Ms. Evelyn, Ms. Mitchell, my counselor, Ms. Gonzalez, and the principal, Ms. Moreno, as well. They were always there. I also want to say thanks to my mother because without her, I wouldn't have done this. She has always been there to push me and is always there for me. My mother is very supportive of my plans to apply to beauty school. I was accepted into a 10-month program in San Rafael, and I start next week. I am really excited about this training, this new knowledge to prepare me for my career and my future plans. In closing, I want to say there was once a family member who had a conversation with my mom and had told her, you know, your daughter isn't going to graduate. She is going to be a dropout at 15 and end up being pregnant. Well, guess what? I am 17, I graduated, and I'm not preggo. Class of 2012, congrats to us, we did it.
Thank you, Miriam. We have Mariela Ramirez, also from San Antonio.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Mariela Isabel Ramirez, and I'm honored and proud to be up here tonight as San Antonio High School's representatives, well, as one of them. It's been a long journey, and I'm pleased to be able to recognize all the hard work we've done to get here. I think I can speak for all of us when I say it wasn't an overnight achievement. Our perseverance and support from all of our peers and staff is what got us here today. 4 years ago, I had no idea what to expect from high school. All I knew is that it was going to be completely different from my small junior high. I still remember my first day of high school. I felt like I could so easily get lost in the shuffle, and to be honest, the thought kind of made me nervous. In high school, my success depended on no one else but myself, and that was a concept relatively new to me. I was young and made the mistake of realizing that very same concept a bit too late. After 2 years of struggling to stay on top of it, I made the decision to begin attending San Antonio High School my junior year. It wasn't easy being separated from my old school, friends, and teachers. I found myself wallowing in self-pity with a bitter resentment towards the situation, even though in truth, I was the one who had gotten myself into this mess in the first place. Time went on, and pretty soon after, I began questioning myself. If I had gotten myself into this, could I get myself out of it as well? From that day on, the question burned into the back of my mind, fueling me to push forward and accept that although I couldn't change the past, I could definitely keep moving forward and change everything for the better. The results? I'm standing here before you all wearing this cap and gown and graduating on time, when 2 years ago, I wasn't even close to where I should have been. We've all come so far, and each have our own stories to tell and remember. Those same stories are what make us stronger and make us different from any other schools I've known. Tonight we celebrate not the end of our journey, but the beginning of a new one. We leave as graduating students and will carry on what we have learned for the remainder of our lives. Our school has taught us many things. Those who taught and helped us will not be forgotten, for they are the ones who have helped us advance through our successes and failures, and given support not only when needed, but sometimes when we never even asked for it. Tonight we leave here with the readiness to learn, the ambition to succeed, and the abilities and power to make a difference. We have all earned the right to stand here and accept our diplomas with pride and self-accomplishment. But it doesn't end here. We will continue to make new triumphs and hopefully bring good to this world, for we are the future, and we have the world at our fingertips. Let's take it farther than this. Let us make a difference all over the world. I just have one last thing to say. Class of 2012, we finally did it. It takes only one person to start a change, but why only have one when we could stand up and change the world together? Thank you.
Our next speaker from Sonoma Mountain High School, Victoria Zaragoza.
I never thought that I'd get to this day, and I'm sure a lot of people here feel the same way. School was never a big thing for me. Once I got into junior high, I kind of stopped caring. I didn't have any motivation and never thought that I would even make it to college. My freshman year at Casa Grande was horrible. I failed all my classes and came to the realization that a regular high school just wasn't for me. I talked with a counselor of mine and brought up the idea of going to Sonoma Mountain because I had heard about it from friends, and it seemed like a good choice for me. I brought up the idea to my parents, and they were pleased to see that I wanted to make a change in my schooling by going to a school that would fulfill my needs better. When I first arrived at Sonoma Mountain, I felt like I fit in quite well. That was a really enjoyable year for me. It was my sophomore year of high school, and I had started out great credit-wise. Being at Sonoma Mountain for the past 3 years now, I've gone through ups and downs when it comes to my credit earning, but I've always seemed to pull through. I've always had such great teachers there to help me and push me to do my work because they believe in me and believed that I would succeed. That's what I really loved about Sonoma Mountain. The small environment made it easier for me to focus and actually understand what I was being taught. I enjoyed the environment because you could actually get to know your teachers and develop good bonds with them. I feel it's better to know your teachers because kids in high school usually have a problem with respect, and having the chance to understand my teachers helped me respect them more. I really appreciated Sonoma Mountain because it made me realize I can actually graduate, and having teachers that care made all the difference. The school entirely changed my view on education as a whole. Since being at Sonoma Mountain, I have decided that I want to continue my education after high school. I never really liked high school, so I never thought about college. I'm going to continue to work and go to school full-time at the Santa Rosa Junior College after I graduate high school. I know that going to the JC will lead me in a better direction and help me find the right career path for myself. I know that I will probably change my mind several times over the next few years about who I want to become, but Sonoma Mountain has given me the tools and skills that I need to do these things. I'd like to take some time to thank those people who have helped me to get to this point. Most importantly, I would like to thank my parents and family for always standing by me and supporting me the whole way. My friends and peers for helping me create the amazing memories that I'll have for the rest of my life. And I'd like to thank my counselor, Nanochka Horwitz, for always being so understanding and motivating me to continue my education after high school. I'd like to thank Miss DeLeon. I've never enjoyed English till I had Miss D as a teacher. She goes out of her way to ensure we receive the same opportunities as anyone else. Another influential teacher I had at Sonoma Mountain would be Mr. Bever. Although he was not at Sonoma Mountain this year, He is a great teacher and had a huge impact in my life. I'd also like to thank my teacher, Miss Rosalino, who's helped me learn a lot of useful life skills and that I will take with me everywhere I go. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Mr. Sims, Lil, our secretary, and the rest of the Sonoma Mountain staff for always being supportive and welcoming. And last but not least, coming to Sonoma Mountain 3 years ago, I never pictured making it this far where I'm standing here today. Sonoma Mountain has helped me greatly in my high school career. If I didn't choose to go to this school, I wouldn't have made it here to graduate on time. Sonoma Mountain has helped me grow not only as a student, but as an individual as well. So I'd like to thank everyone one last time and like to congratulate my fellow graduates on their hard work, and I wish them luck for the future. I'd like to leave you now with one last thought from E.E. Cummings. To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best, night and day, to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human can fight and never stop fighting. And class of 2012 will never stop fighting. Thank you.
Our final speaker for tonight is our Valley Oak speaker, Sophia Martinez.
Good evening. My name is Sophia Martinez, and I'm a Valley Oaks graduate. Technically, I graduated in March, and you'd think that the last couple of months after graduating would have consisted of me sipping virgin margaritas and dancing to Katy Perry's Teenage Dream. But the reality is far less scandalous. I have spent the last months studying at Santa Rosa Junior College and preparing for my future. My friends at the junior college are always interested in how Valley Oaks works. They want to know if my mother is my teacher or if she has teaching credentials. But to their disappointment, the answer is no. Valley Oaks generally consists of bi-weekly 30-minute appointments with 2 different teachers. The second question that I'm normally asked is, did you like Valley Oaks? Now, I'm going to give you a long drawn-out answer as to why I loved Valley Oaks. During my sophomore year of high school, I was actually attending Novato High, which is a school of 7,000 plus students. My favorite experience at Novato High took place in my math class. I was asked by the teacher to check my semester grade. I scanned the paper for my identification number and saw that I had the lowest F out of 27 students. If I may say so myself, that was quite an accomplishment. I mean, getting that low of an F took some effort. I went back to my chair and sat down in shame, and I thought to myself, what am I even doing here? It was at this point in my education that I decided a school like Valley Oaks may better suit me. Now, here comes the profound part of my speech that will move you guys to tears. I believe that without curiosity, there is no passion or interest in learning, in growing personally, or in trying to understand others. At Valley Oaks, I was able to investigate plant biology with Ms. Parker and participate in the Sonoma County Science Fair. I also had the privilege to explore Point Reyes National Seashore with Mr. Metzger's hiking class. I was even able to partake in Mr. Klein's Tai Chi classes, all of which satisfied my curiosity. This is what education is. It is about challenging yourself, and most importantly, education is about following your curiosity to discover who you are capable of becoming. Personally, this coming fall, I will continue on to my 4th semester at Santa Rosa Junior College in hopes of transferring to a University of California, where I will pursue a degree in cognitive science. It doesn't take a Valley Oaks student long to realize that independent study is hardly independent. You have a staff of passionate educators that never get tired of reading your sloppy handwriting. As for the teachers, staff, and faculty, thank you for providing Petaluma with such an outstanding educational experience. Also, a big thanks to all the family and friends here today. Stay curious, class of 2012. Good luck and congratulations. Thank you.
works better this way. And now, for that time that you're all been waiting for, where it's about time for the presentation of the diplomas. Thank you. That was a wonderful introduction, but we want to hear the names. So our first graduate, Jasmine Macias. Stephanie Morales.
Rochelle Rose Brillhart.
Dominique Marie Allen. Nikki, you forgot something. Sydney Peterson. Haley Garangelli. Eric Bobo.
Mr. Dominic Mingarelli. Mr. Josh Walker. Mr. Alexander Stephen Gordon Happy. Again? Mr. Ivar Pietzi. Nice job.
Derek Dillenberg. Connor McDaniel Brewer. Tabitha Reynolds. Katie Escobar. Carla Marquez. Crystal Bracamontes Cortez. Cruz Martinez. Giovanna Moore. Rosa Flores. Ali Pica. Kayla Henderson. Eduardo Cervantes. Juan Castellanos Arango. Rodrigo Martinez Ochoa. Jose Santos Martinez. Daniel, I practiced his last name to get it right, and now I said his first name wrong. Daniel Carreño. Jonathan Gonzalez. Sarah Sarah Lavazzoli. Veronica Espinoza. Omar Vasquez. Richard Harrison Hickey. Brittany Ann Elizabeth Watson. Andrea Marengo. Grace Sabraco. Emma Burns.
Greg Smiley. Nice job.
Pierre Robert Moynihan. James Lemus. Jared Olson. Jared, come back here.
Kylie Folks. Alexander Robert Battaglia. Let me shake your hand. Mr. Drake Carlson.
Alexander Smirnov. Shelby Lee McClintock. Jonathan Brasta. Samantha Klein. Kylie Lynn Stoneham. Liliana Franco Carvajal. Ashley Denise Bearfield.
Ms. Shauna Bernardi.
Hunter Kislow. standard.
Mr. Jimmy Soriano.
Jackson Dargy. Raul Zanigo. Zaniga. Brandon Anthony Barbieri. Elena Elizabeth Hopkins. Adrian Vidrio. Mariela Isabel Ramirez. Miriam Vasquez Hernandez. Sophia Martinez.
Victoria Zaragoza. Sarah Jean Patrick.
Jonathan Humphrey. Jose Jimenez. Maria Calderon Mendoza. Toribio Romo Macias. Brittany Pimentel. Brianna Marie Leppinen.
I actually have my hopes set on this next part since they're already holding their diplomas. Could I call to the stage Miss Jane Escobedo, our Assistant Superintendent for Educational Services?
I'll let you do the formal presentation. You want to hold it?
Yeah, that would be better. At this time, I would like to ask Superintendent Steve Bowman to come to the podium. Superintendent Bowman, I present the class of 2012 to you and certify that they have met all the requirements for graduation.
By the authority provided to me by the Petaluma City Schools Board of Education, I hereby accept the alternative education class of 2012 for graduation. Congratulations, we're proud of you.
Yeah. Congratulations. We have one last formality to take care of. I have a couple of closing remarks I'd like to make, and then we're going to cut all these folks loose to begin the next stage of their lives. So, graduates, please move your tassels from the right to the left to show that you have got it done. Yes, indeed. All right. I will be brief, but I do want to say something pretty important to all of you and to all of them. This is an important evening. It marks a milestone in your lives. It's an important one. You need to revel in it. You need to enjoy it. You need to make smart choices, please, from here to eternity, but in particular over the next several days, please. Be the ones that we can be consistently proud of. Be the ones making those smart choices that we can have come to count on. Family and friends, help keep them safe, please. Cherish what they do right and help them do right things constantly. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of 2012.